Good morning, vocal yogis. Sarah Whitten here, and I wanted to talk to you this morning about the idea of releasing tension. I have yet to meet a human being alive who doesn't have some extra tension. Many of us carry it in between the shoulder blades and up into the neck for a whole host of reasons. How we live our lives, where the sympathetic nervous system lives, which is what gets triggered in a stress response. A lot of that originates in this part of the spine, the thoracic spine. But the upshot for many of us, is jaw tension, which can be particularly problematic if you're a voice user, singer. It can be problematic no matter who you are, but particularly in the voice world, right? So, this is near and dear to my heart because I have had a lot of jaw issues, and they stemmed from two incidents when I was a teenager. One was I was a field hockey player, and I was collided. Another girl on the other team ran into me, and her shoulder met my jaw very hard, and I was sort of stunned enough that I fell to the ground, but I couldn't open my mouth immediately afterwards, and it took some time before I could. And that, I'm trying to remember when that was. If this may have all happened in the same year. Might have been sophomore year and then junior year. But then I had my wisdom teeth out, and that field hockey collision had happened before having my wisdom teeth out, but having my jaw cranked open for as long as it was to get out all four wisdom teeth left me with some not insignificant jaw issues. They were very, very pronounced in the following year, my senior year. No, it was later that junior year. I was singing the role of Cunegonde in Candide, and I would go to do the high notes, and my jaw would literally lock open. And I would sit there and kind of just wiggle it to try and get it loose. And eventually, I think, for a little while, I had a night bite when I went to college. But then I sort of didn't have a night bite, and eventually I ended up cracking teeth, gum recession, all kinds of issues with my teeth that, though I take good care of them in terms of brushing and flossing, a really talented dentist finally identified for me that it was all the jaw stuff that I had going on. And when I add into that the accident that I had as an 11-year-old water skiing, I have a lot of shoulder junk too. So all of this is connected, and I had low back SI joint issues as well. So everything is all linked in. So when I talk about the jaw for other people, I just want you to know where I'm coming from, that I totally feel you on the problematic nature, shall we call it that, also known as pain in the ass that jaw pain can be. But what I want to talk to you about is the tension that we carry here, or it could be anywhere in the body, but because jaw is coming up next month in the free workshop series that I'm doing, what happens if you release tension somewhere and you're actually not ready to release it? So what does that mean, not ready to release it? You're like, of course I'm ready to release it. I don't want it anymore. Ready to release it means your body no longer needs to hold here because you've got balance elsewhere to allow this to let go. So if you aren't ready to release it, the sort of what most people experience is that it's just going to go right back. You'll get temporary relief, and then you're going to come back and have jaw tension again. Maybe you have jaw pain. Sometimes the two they don't always go together. The downside of releasing something that isn't ready to be released, that is a much more significant problem than just having the tension return, is that you can create greater tension and greater pain. The reason why we hold tension in places like the jaw is because in general we're well compensated structures, and our bodies are doing what they need to do to hold themselves together. So if the jaw is the weak link in the chain of your body, that's where that tension is going to show up. So if you just go in there and go at it, and you really aggressively massage the jaw and the SCM and all of the muscles surrounding it, and you're like, I feel great, but a short time later you're like, I feel worse, it's because this actually isn't the source of the problem. It's coming from elsewhere in the body. And for me, personally, that was my deep core, that when that is working well, this is not doing the kinds of things that it was doing before. It doesn't lock open anymore. I'm not cracking teeth at night anymore. I'm still doing stuff to manage it. But this was the weak link in the chain, as it is for so many people. So just be aware that if your body isn't ready to release it because you haven't built what you need around it, you're going to end up with either just going back to right where you were, back to square one, or like taking 2 steps back and finding yourself in pain and greater tension and all of that. So that's my thought for you today on releasing tension. Coming up on June 20th is the next free monthly workshop that we're looking at the jaw and whether it's just the weak link in the chain for you. And in particular, we're looking at the relationship to the pelvis, because those 2 elements sit at either end of the spine. So we're going to talk a lot about how they're connected and look at some ways of just beginning to feel that, what I call cross-body connections, like the jaw and pelvis. So I hope you'll join me. I'll pop the link to register in the comment box when I'm done. And there is room on the live workshop for 100 people to join live. And there can be unlimited people who watch the replay. There's a 48-hour window from the time that I send out the replay to when it ends, and that is a firm window. You have to watch it in those 48 hours. But if you feel like you really like what you see, you can then join what I'm creating, calling the Learning and Movement Library for Singers, where all of these workshops will live forever, along with a whole lot of other videos that you can use to explore and improve your relationship with your body. So I'll be sharing information about that too. It's in the process of being created right now. I'm hoping it's going to be done by the end of June. It might be a little bit later than that. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I hope you will join me on June 20th, noon Eastern time. And it'll run for under an hour. I'm going to try to keep it into people's lunch hour time. And then you can watch the replay as many times as you want. And then it's going to go away after 48 hours unless you join the library. And then you'll have access to it as long as you're a member of the library. So hit me with any questions that you have as you contemplate tension and releasing tension in your body. And I hope you'll join me on the 20th. Take care.